Greetings YouTube and welcome to episode 2 of 0AD Newbie Rush on Mystic Gym TV. And this week I have another 1v1 matchup for you. I'm afraid you've got to watch me play again, but from episode 3 and onwards I'll be featuring some other players to mix things up a bit. If you have a match that you've been involved in that you'd like to see featured in a future episode of Newbie Rush, you'll find an email link in the description for submitting your replay files, and you'll also find links for downloading 0AD, and why wouldn't you? It's free after all. And there are links to the growing 0AD community, and if you can't wait until episode 3 for more action, you'll find links to the Tom 0AD and Valorant YouTube channels, where you'll find a whole load of people playing the game a hell of a lot better than me. Anyway, without further ado, here are today's competitors. This week's game is another 1v1 matchup on a medium-sized mainland map, again in the autumn biome. It's me, Mystic Jim, rated a very pathetic 1068 at the time. Yes, I actually managed to reduce my ratings since the previous game. Long story short, I played a few experimental games with some other civilizations, and let's just say it didn't go that well. For this encounter, I've returned to my favourite tried and tested civ, the Britons. I'll be up against the Wolf Who Cried boy, rated 1308, but not having played very many games, and he's playing as the Seleucids. Rest assured I probably mispronounced that at least once during the commentary. Let's get going. And here we go. Just waiting for the teams to start. I am playing down here. It's me playing as Mystic Jim, in charge of the Britons. I've gone for a pretty standard beginning. 6 women on the way, 4 women building a farmstead to collect berries. The guys over here building a storehouse, and my cavalryman killing chickens. I've sent my war dog. He will be heading to the far reaches of the map to try and spring a bit of a ruse on my opponent, and my opponent is the Wolf Who Cried boy, playing as the Seleucids, who has gone for a slightly different approach. We have 4 women just collecting berries, no farmstead. Interesting approach, not sure if I approve. They've gone straight for storehouse with 4 guys and 2 additional women. More women on the way, hasn't gone for the 6 women, and strangely he's sent 3 women off to build a house in a far corner. This turns out to be a feature of the game, this bizarre building houses in a slightly strange area. So something to look out for. Bit of a mistake as far as I'm concerned. He's not utilising that area of the map. So why build the house there? You just have to walk all the way out there and walk back, so not sure if that was a tactical idea or just a newbie mistake. Think it was the latter, because more houses go up there later. Population wise, I have opened up a 1-person lead. Still no farmstead, but he's now got 10 women on the food. I suppose that's to make up for the lack of the berry upgrade, and got travelling time to and from the berries to the civic centre. He's now got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people chopping wood. He's only got the 1 active wood line. And when that wood line runs out, he hasn't got another one on the go. He has got berries down here. Interested to see if he exploits those. And 2 women just stood there. They're going to build a house in that corner. Interesting. My attack dog hasn't yet. Oh, he's moved into position. He's going to go in for an early attack. In the meantime, I've got 2 fields down, farmstead with the upgrade. I've built a couple of houses near to my base. I've nearly used all of the berries. No wood upgrades yet, and haven't started second wood line. Attack dog is probably, if I remember rightly, going to move in here and start trying to disrupt the food production here. It's all women, 10 of them. There he goes. And this is not designed to be a knockout blow, although if I'd have been smarter I'd have sent them straight at the women there. So he's killed one of them. That's stopped his food production briefly. Also stopped his entire wood production because this whole wood line has run out. He's building a barracks, which I think is a bit early. I haven't built a barracks yet, but I've got a second wood line of 4 fields. So different priorities here, but not a very efficient one. He's gone back to that fairly small wood line and now started a new one and taken everybody away from that with all their stuff, and still no sign of a switch to farming. We just have a very brief look at his perspective. Lots of capacity, 2 things to produce from, but not producing at the moment. The lead population, I've opened up a lead to 37. So I think the Wolf Who Cried Boy is storing problems up for the future here in terms of his resources. He's now gone to fields, still got 1 berry left, hasn't exploited these, and oh dear, I think he's hunting rabbits. That's I think of all the things in 0AD that you can hunt, rabbits are the most pointless thing. They really are not worth it. I think you'd need a field of about 200 of them and several horses to make that in any way efficient. But there's no farmstead near the source. I'd be surely better off having a go at these berries rather than that. Interestingly, finally getting a farmstead down to support the fields, of which he's got 2 on the go. Let's go back into Overlord view. I have got six fields down, 1 about to be populated. I have a lead now. It's 43 plays 37, and we have another wood line on the go. So this is looking good. I've got berries at the top as well, which I can exploit. But there we are at the 5-minute mark. I think we're going to speed the action up now. Things start to get serious. Let's speed that up. And we'll see how it develops. So 50 plays 40 now. So the lead is opening. He is producing from the barracks, the Wolf Who Cried Boy, but he's not producing from the CC. And still only got the 1 wood line here. Has got a load of upgrades, been upgrading his farming. I have got another wood line on the go. And doubling up on my storehouses, so that should improve my collection times. And we've also got another field, so 7 fields. Upgraded as far as farming goes. The only upgrade I've got in terms of collection is the wheelbarrow, so that's +5 improvement on all shuttling resources. I tend to go for that because it's more balanced. Later on, when you need stone and metal in a hurry, the specific stone and metal upgrades are always worth getting. Probably the wood one is worth getting if you know you're going to need a lot of buildings coming up. But I tend to like the upgrade that sort of affects everyone. Seems to be a bit more useful all round in terms of keeping things balanced. Now, my opponent having a bit of a slow time. 66 plays 49. And he's actually moving to phase 2 with, well, he actually initially moved with under 40 under 50 population, so that's early. Still only making people from the barracks, and they are spending a bit of time just stood there, so not a particularly efficient workflow going on. These houses, this is a bugbear. There is actually a decent wood line and a line of stone there that could be exploited. Instead, he's just building houses there and wandering off. Very strange indeed. And market's going up. Again, you'd have to question it. Only 4 fields. And struggling for population. that amount of food is not going to sustain a growing population at a high level, as evidenced by the 1s and 2s being generated. And this here is incredible. Another house. That's the 5th one he's built there. Every single one they've had to go away from where they were working to the middle of nowhere and then come back again. And we see the one wood line. No secondary wood line started in advance, so these guys are all going in various different directions to get to this storehouse here. They haven't opened up any other avenues, still haven't exploited the berries. It's a strange one. Looking back at myself, I've gone to phase 2, got a market going up, my watchtower is being upgraded. I've got additional wood lines starting to come on stream. I've started mining. Got the wood line over here. Got my farmers occasionally ducking out and building the odd house to keep myself going. We are 12 minutes in. I'm up to 104. So I would say, from my point of view, I'm a good 20 citizens behind where I should be. The best players always seem to have 100 by the time they hit 10 minutes, and it's taken me 12 minutes. So that's a bit disappointing. I don't think I had as good wood lines as the Wolf-Cried boy. What he has done, though, is ignored those good wood lines and gone for a slightly bizarre move. He's gone with the military colony early. Sent 30 troops up to collect wood. He has now started utilising one of his good wood lines, although he's only got 6 people there. He's ignored this one entirely, ignored this one, and ignored all of this. And the berries. It seems to be he's only got one gear, and that gear is forward. Got a tower going up. He's racing to try and get to phase 3. Still needs 2 entities of buildings and has only got to about 90 people. That's not a good population. I've reached 130, so I've put my foot down a bit. I'm now generating people from 4 barracks and a CC. I've got a move to phase 3 queued up. I've now pretty much got to 150 just before 15 minutes, so that last 5 minutes I've definitely turned it around a bit, got it more where it should be. That's the thing, if you can maximise that first 10 minutes and get to 100, you can get to phase 3 a lot quicker, get a fortress up, get siege going a lot faster. I've sort of made up for it, but you would be hoping to start thinking about putting down your fortress right now. So a little bit behind there. My wood lines are starting to get a bit stretched, but we're approaching a point where we're likely to clash. I am just scouting his base, so this is what I can see. I am aware that he's got phase 2 buildings. And I think I'm going for a long haul around the back to see the rest of the base. Scouting is important. Didn't scout this bit, or I would see that he's not managing his wood lines at all. Well, it's got this one here, and it's got these people running around all over the place. Should really have brought secondary forces up here, just in case it kicks off here. You could reinforce it easily. So what I've got a small force here of only about 30, 35 people, and even smaller force here. And he's got around 30 people there, so confrontation would be a micro confrontation, but a confrontation all the same. He is starting to amass forces. There's some cav coming up. I am building up some cav here as well. These are sword cavalry, so these are effectively to head off if we end up in a siege weapon situation. They're on hand to stop it. Annoyingly, I have got a hunt here that I didn't pursue. Yeah, my forces are spread a little bit thin. I'm focused on how he's seeing the enemy. I'm starting to spread out a bit thin now. But very industrious. I've managed to get to nearly 200, so 200 just before 20 minutes is not bad going. He's made it to 161, so has improved his numbers, but still a big disadvantage, especially as at least 30 of that number are women. At this end though, it's all soldiers, and we have a little bit of a skirmish. One of my my cav have got a bit excited, and we have a fight. Okay, so he's piled everybody locally in, and I've done the same. I believe at this stage I have upgraded some of my troops, so this fight probably not going to go too well for him, but he's bringing more numbers in. So 15 slingers and 1 horse. They've withdrawn a bit. He loves his cavalry. And we have a hero elephant. I've managed to get my fortress up. The Wolfie Cry boy has not done that. He hasn't reinforced his front line with towers. So this area here, they're not all. Could do with have some people in that tower. But in here is an area where he can't really move without taking damage from my installations, whereas I can attack him with impunity. I've got a temple here too. So, yeah, although he had the numerical advantage, he's fighting in the shadow of my tower. It's not going well for him. There is, however, a hero elephant. Can I stop him? The hero elephant is, that's annoying, that. Primary targets all over him. Went for a storehouse that I'm not actually using. Everybody's now piling in on the elephant. Confrontation up here. I've had to pull them back because they got a bit excited, but all the focus is on this elephant. It's going for the CC. Everybody piles in and murders the elephant. There he goes. So that's a bit of a worry. In the meantime, annoyingly, I'd got distracted. Hadn't ordered any rams. Now I've got some rams on the go. There's a bit of a bloodbath happening in the middle. He's having trouble reinforcing. He's got troops that are further out, but we keep working our way through small contingencies of troops with larger numbers, and we are fighting in our territory. A tower here and here would be good. We're fighting out of the range of that tower. He has got a fortress up. In comes some rams to try and take out this second fortress that he wants to put up, and we have elephants now as well. I've upgraded all my troops. It's now 217 plays 131, so he has been losing troops right, left and centre in this confrontation, whereas I've been reinforcing. Over 100 lead now, so this is looking bad, and I think his chance would have been maybe making a decisive strike with that hero elephant. As it is, his armoured elephants are no match for my infantry. Neither is his hero, and he can't reinforce. He is desperately trying to generate numbers like he hasn't done throughout the whole game, trying to get more of them on the go. 10 of them supposedly coming out of... that's going to take a minute. This is coming right down. They're not going to have time to come out. That's coming down. If that goes before his reinforcements arrive, I mean, reinforcements I think will be prolonging the inevitable. It's gone. And he's resigned, predictably. When the end came, it was pretty brutal, but a few takeaways from this. Early on, I'd have to question the Wolf Who Cried Boy's decision to not build a farmstead, to have 10 women collecting the berries manually and walking all the way back and forth from the civic centre. I think a farmstead and the upgrade is essential for really fast development. I've got to question the houses. They're all the way in the centre. You're probably taking about 2 seconds to walk over there, build the house and walk back. That is lots and lots of lost dead time when you could be producing things, when you could be efficiently building things next to your base and next to your active wood lines. So that was a strange one. Ignoring the other lot of berries and hunting rabbits, that would be another couple. And not managing wood lines effectively. You always need a new wood line beginning. At least one beginning before one has ended. You don't want to be moving your entire woodline operation to a new place. So yeah, quite a few newbie mistakes. From my point of view, I haven't got my build order completely 100% right, as evidenced by the fact I was well down on 100 by the 10-minute mark. So that is something that I desperately need to work on. Still have lots of people standing around idle when I don't notice they've finished mining. I'm trying to get into the habit of checking for idle workers, and if I've got like another stone mine somewhere that's waiting to be utilised, when the stone is getting low, trying to sort of plan in advance to move them, sort of setting their next instruction to when they finish mining to walk over to that replacement mine and keep everything as automated as possible. But all the same, when you just look at population raised 292 against a total of 243 does not look like a huge difference, but when you look at how those populations were reached, that right there, I would say that's around about the 5-minute mark. That is a long flat line in his production of new units. That's probably 3 times as long as that short flat line that I've got there. And at that point, the gap between our ability to produce never recovered. So, yeah, especially in the middle part, I really did put my foot down here and accelerated that level. If I could get some exponential growth like that down here, I'd have been laughing. If we look at units lost, an important part of this, I think, he had less troops to commit to combat, but early on we were facing off with even numbers. He didn't have the troops to reinforce when things started going south. The first couple of confrontations were quite even, but my troops were upgraded, I had the greater numbers, and it became a slaughter, an absolute slaughter at that point. And if we look at resources, yeah, much more smooth curve from mine of the resources gathered. Again, starting round about that 5-minute mark, and I think it's the food, definitely. We said about this during the game. Shortfall of food production. Yeah, that will, shortfall of anything will sort of cripple your development, but certainly down here, food producing women, it wasn't happening. It just was not happening for him. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Not meaning to be too critical on the Wolf Who Cried Boy. Like I said, he's a new player, has only played a handful of games, has definitely not got his build order sorted out, and is not playing the game efficiently. So somebody with half a mind for efficiency will gain an advantage like I gained in that game. If you find yourself in a similar position, if you find you're not, you're having lots of dead time where you're not able to produce anything inside the first 10 minutes, go back and look at your build order. Make sure you justify every decision that you make. Don't waste anything. Put down the things you need when you need them, and tighten it right up, and you will improve that average of population created in no time at all. But until next time, thank you very much for watching.